cameras and give us some space. Move back, move back. Move back, please. Lift your camera. Let us conclude
Thank you. and the very revered, highly revered man of God. Please, let's... May be seated. And man of God. Your Excellency, Godwin, Your Excellency, distinguished honorable members, Oba of Benin, Ewa Idokiva Nugidina, Oba Atokwe Temporal, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Speaker, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, for his remarks. Please, a round of applause for His Excellency. A round of applause, please.
The king of the city is marching.
Please be seated. Our Vice President, we welcome you home to Benin City, Edo State, and also welcome your delegation that have come with you, the team that have come with you, led by Tola and his other colleagues, and also to thank you immensely for locating this MSME shared facility for furniture production in Edo State. It is a delight for me and the people of Edo State that we are here to witness the beginning of yet another stride in our quest to make Edo great again. Mr. Vice President, as you know, Edo State has multiple endowments and comparative advantages, which naturally position us to be a leader in the furniture and timber production business of this country. Key to exploring these endowments is our inherited creativity and the artistic personnel of the Edo man, which sets us apart globally. We are blessed with the main resources required for furniture, which is timber, which is available in our rainforests. And we have built decades-old reputation for producing top-quality furniture, which is already been shipped to other parts of Nigeria and around the world. Just as an aside, Mr. President, Vice President, this shared facility, the premises for this shared facility was built over 80 years ago by the colonial masters. I met this facility. In fact, my mother said this facility existed before she was born, which shows that for decades, we have been competitive in furniture production. And I would just crave your indulgence, Mr. Vice President, if you don't mind, that we name this facility after one of the first Nigerian engineers to manage these premises, Engineer Iwerioba. The availability of gas, which makes us an electricity hub, makes the electricity available in this facility, because this facility we're commissioning today enjoys high quality power, which is provided by the independent power plant from Osinbajo. This facility will produce household furniture and promises to be a very viable one, because as you saw, Mr. Vice President, during your inspection, the key raw material which this factory will be using is the medium density fiber boards, the MDF boards. And we have the largest company, the largest production of MDF boards in West Africa, located in Edo State. It's there by the bypass. We share your passion, sir, in encouraging local production, because it is the only way to go if we're going to accelerate growth in our economy, drive down poverty, and create more jobs. The establishment of production hubs and the supporting MSME clinics such as this by your office has been a key driver for job creation in our country. Mr. Vice President, following your guide, we as a government in Edo State are also undertaking initiatives to boost MSME operations in our state. For instance, a couple of months ago, we contributed our 1 billion naira counterpart funding to the Bank of Industry to obtain a 2 billion facility to support micro, small, and medium businesses in Edo State. After we had successfully undertaken a major enumeration of micro, small, and medium businesses across the state. And it may interest you to know, sir, that between Oredo, Ikobaha, and Igor, the key metropolitan area of Benin City, we enumerated over 36,000 micro, small, and medium businesses, and we have the data for all of them. Sir, you will recall that we set up our first shared production facility in 2019 down Sapele Road, the Edo Production Hub, where we have small artisans and small-scale manufacturers who produce in a shared facility like this across several businesses, and we as government have provided them uninterrupted power supply. And these hubs, true to your vision, have been incubation hubs and created programs which is now placing our state as one of the top states in terms of encouraging small, medium businesses in Nigeria. Your Excellency, Edo State is in the process of expanding this shared facility. We want to acknowledge and thank you that what you have done for us today is beyond this facility. What you have done for us is to open our eyes and made it sure that it is possible for us to have facilities like this set up very quickly and promptly as we've done this. As you know, we got a call from your office less than 6 months ago to say that we could benefit from, the facility in your office. And we quickly, jumped it to work, and with the hard work of people like Okinebo Dare, we're able to put this facility and make this facility available for this event today. What we plan to do, sir, is to now use this model and locate similar facilities in 6 of our technical colleges across the state, so that these students in these technical colleges now have facilities where they can train and learn these trades. All of them may not be in furnishing. Some of them will be in auto repairs, and some of them will be in fashion design. And we really appreciate, sir, if we can continue this collaboration with your office in this same way to build SME clusters in fashion, auto mechanic, and machine fabrication. We look forward to collaborating with your office in the same way as we have done here. And I want to assure you, sir, that the entrepreneurs in Edo State will be encouraged to take advantage of these opportunities which are being offered by these facilities across the state, because it will help them create new skills, new markets, and improve their production capacity. In closing, I would like to especially thank His Excellency, our President Muhammadu Buhari, and Your Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Shibajo, for your support and collaboration with our administration. We also want to express our profound gratitude to your very, very hardworking team which you have put together in your office to promote this national MSME clinics have done an outstanding work. We want to thank them, and on a final note, thank our own local team led by They say she's now an Honorable Ukinebu Diary. I didn't realize that she's not in that title. For putting up sleepless nights. I was here last night to inspect what was going on, and these machines had not been arranged the way they were, the way we met them this morning. Just tells you that they did not go to bed last night because they were working hard to make sure everything is on cue. We look forward to more successful collaborations between the federal government and Edo State government. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause for the action governor, the actualizer, the motivator. Professor Osinbajo, SAN, for his remarks. Please, a round of applause for the Vice President. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please sit. I bring you the very warm greetings of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, who has asked me to specifically extend his warm regards to the governor and the government of Edo State, and of course the very industrious people of this state. MSMEs are a priority of the Buhari administration because, as we've all heard, they are an engine of growth for the economy, and because they account for almost half of our national income and 3/4 of jobs. Given our determination to support our countrymen and women who run small businesses, we have held MSME clinics in at least 29 states of the Federation. In the course of running those clinics, we noticed that in addition to their request for a more friendly regulatory environment, MSMEs also wanted to be supported in terms of production facilities, which were lacking or too expensive. And this is how the idea of supporting MSMEs by providing at least one shared facility in every state of the Federation came up. So shared facilities provide MSME clusters with machinery that different businesses can use or rent for short periods. In addition to convenience and access to the latest equipment, this arrangement also spares them the financial burden of having to purchase vital equipment on their own. And I think that this is a very important aspect of the work of the MSME clusters, that most, in this case, carpenters and cabinet makers, will be unable to afford the type of machines that are here. And so the idea is to provide those heavy equipment for them so that they can come in and use the equipment. And that's the way by which we can also expand the scope and the work of the MSME clusters. So on the 14th of June 2018, the Edo State government, as we've heard, hosted the 16th National MSME Clinic. And after consultations, it was agreed that the shared facility in Edo State would be a furniture shared facility, one for the furniture manufacturing sector. Accordingly, the federal government and the Edo State government began the process of delivering what you are witnessing today. On the federal side, MSME partners such as the Bank of Industry, Nexim Bank, NAFDAC, SON, ITF, Raw Materials and Research Development Council, and the private sector came together also with the Edo State government, which provided and renovated these premises. In addition to providing a suitable location, the state government also provided the workspace to house the equipment. And of course, you've heard that already from His Excellency the Governor. And I think that it is appropriate that we commend and congratulate the Governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, and his team for the partnership and dedication towards the entire process, and also for the excellent arrangements that they've made for the commissioning here today. This facility, as we've seen already, is equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment, machines and equipment, which I believe when used to full capacity, and we are told can produce maybe 250 furniture items daily, including doors, dining sets, credenzas, and cabinets. So I call on the MSMEs in Edo State within the furniture producing space to take full advantage of this facility in improving their production. I'm aware that the Edo State team has put us under constant pressure into ensuring that all was ready in good time for today. And I'm glad to say that the Edo State officials coped very, very well under pressure, and we've heard already from the work that they've done, even overnight, trying to ensure that this equipment here were ready. But equally notable, I think, is the fact that the state government is thinking of replicating furniture manufacturing clusters across the state and in some of the technical colleges. This would be very welcome, and I think it underscores the real essence of this shared facility. It's our expectation that once a shared facility is commissioned, then the state expands the availability of such facilities for the benefit of many industrious MSMEs. I think it's important to point out that this shared facility that we have here is one of the several that is being built across all states of the Federation. We started with 4, notably in Benue State, where we built a 200,000 capacity yam storage facility at the Zaki Biam yam market, which is the largest yam market in Africa and possibly even in the world. In Lagos State, we built the Eco MSME Fashion Hub, which is around Allen Avenue, and it services about 300 tailors and fashion designers every day. The Anambra State facility is in Ogbunike, Oyi. It's a shoemaking facility with industrial equipment and machines within close proximity of the state's shoemakers cluster. Just 3 days ago, we commissioned the shared facility in Imo State, which is dedicated to fashion and comprises 200 world-class manual and fully automated fashion equipment. But in addition to the 4 that are already in place, and of course this is the 5th, we have a calendar to commission other shared facilities. And these other shared facilities are the shared facility in Kaduna State, which is located within the Soba tomato cluster in Soba local government area of the state. We have the Kebbi State facility that's located in Benin Kebbi, which will provide 2 lines of rice milling machinery to assist rice farmers to also mill their rice and benefit from the rice production value chain. Then we have the Ogun State shared facility, which is already located within the popular Adire market in Abeokuta in Ogun State. The Ebonyi State facility is located within the Uburu industrial cluster in Uburu in Ebonyi State. Machines are being made for the production of various types of footwear and leatherworks for shoemakers in that state. The Kano State facility is located within the Kano metropolis of the state for various types of footwear and leatherworks for shoemakers in the state. As you know, Kano State is very famous for its leatherware. The Katsina State facility, on the other hand, will cater for tomato farmers within the state through the provision of modern machinery for the production of tomato paste. We also have a facility in Ekiti State, which will cater for cocoa farmers through the provision of machinery for the processing of cocoa and cocoa flour. The Bauchi State facility is expected to be located around Azare in the state and will cater for groundnut farmers through the provision of modern groundnut oil milling plants. So there is a plan to ensure that wherever we find a state that is willing to cooperate, a state that is forward-looking and prepared to provide these types of facilities, we're ready and able to support. And I'd like to say to His Excellency, the Governor, that we are prepared to support all other efforts to ensure that these shared facilities or any other facilities for the development of MSMEs is attended to as quickly and as efficiently as possible. In closing, let me quickly state that as it is with other shared facilities commissioned, this shared facility will be run, and we've heard from the state government, by competent private sector companies or firms while the federal government and the state government will keep a constant eye on activities to ensure that the objectives that we have set are all achieved. It's also an expectation that our MSME partners will ensure that final products from here meet global standards and are fit, especially for export, to the rest of the world. So let me thank all of our MSME partners and agencies for their contribution to making this project a reality, and also to thank again His Excellency and his team for the very excellent arrangements that have been made, not only for this facility, but also for the great progressive work that we're seeing practically across all of the state. And of course, as you know, we're going to be looking at a technology park in the next hour or so. So I'd like to thank you for the very great work you are doing and for the progress that is being made in the state. And we look forward to working with you hand in hand to ensure that you're able to deliver on all of your plans and promises to the good people of this state. Thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attention.
Please put your hands together for Mr. Vice President. Put your hands together. Thank you so much.
One of them. Your Excellency, my friend, my name is Chima. I'm the lesson in the classroom. We also have our own station, like our business and GFR remote classes, and we also play games in our leisure time. We're so happy to have you, my friends. Thank you. Thank you very much.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Edo State Governor, his deputy, and other dignitaries. Please don't put our hands together. Give the Vice President a very, very round welcome. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Mr. Vice President. To serve our Father. Thank you so much. You're going to receive it.
To start on existing protocol. Welcome to all the young people that have spent programming languages and had an outstanding experience. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all protocols observed. I would like to say a very big welcome to our graduation ceremony of the awards. I'll just give a brief introduction of Decagon. Decagon is an...
I would like to recognize the best graduating student for the Android. Was the best graduating student for Python stack. No other person than Sunday and then the best contribution and active participation in agile leadership. It's no other person than Kayode Ifeoluwa Adebayo. Exemplary leadership trait in SQ008. It's no other person than Mobola
and for their outstanding performance while on the program. happy and honored to say this. Thank you very much, the Edo State government, for this opportunity. I want to say that
This will be a problem for me. If I started with about this program, but the leadership program I've been very driven. It's possibly a lot, and I think a lot of my friends a lot here too.
okay, everybody in the graduating class, please come on stage immediately.
From this particular cohort of the decade, I believe it is. Yes. It really is a pleasure here to see for myself what the governor had told me about this particular project, a collaboration between the state government and Decagon for training of this sort, training in program language skills and all that. And I think that this is very commendable. I think this is fantastic. I think it's really the way to go. It is, I think, also in line with everything that we've been talking about in the past few years, about getting young people involved in the types of things that will enable them to be entrepreneurial, will enable them to do their own thing, and also to find well-paying jobs locally or internationally. So I'm really excited to see what is going on here. We walked into a couple of the classrooms, and I think that that's exactly how they should be. That's exactly how this seems. But one of the things I'd like to say is that despite all of the challenges that we're facing, the most, for me, I think that one of the critical issues that we have to attend to and which we have to face is that despite all these problems, despite the challenges, and there are many, I mean, we have unemployment at about 33%, which is very high. And that was, of course, worsened by COVID, which is why we have that kind of huge percentage. But despite all of that, within the past 6 years, from 2015 to now, Nigeria has recorded the growth of 6 unicorns. Unicorns, of course, you know, are companies that are valued at over $1 billion. And these companies were started by young men and women like yourselves. I'm sure you know several of those examples. You know Andela, Flutterwave, Paystack, now OPay, PiggyVest, and several of these other companies. Many of them were started by very, very young people, definitely in their 20s. Practically every one of those companies was started by somebody in their 20s, or a group of people in their 20s. So the real opportunities are there. The real opportunities are there. And the opportunities in technology are incredible. The good thing about technology is that it is cross-border. Your skills are relevant anywhere in the world. Your skills are not only relevant here, they're relevant anywhere in the world. And you are limited only by your creativity, only by your own ability to be creative. So I think that the opportunities are immense. Those of you who have the opportunity now to learn the skills are way ahead of hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of people all over the world. And that's the reality. The kinds of skills you have, many, many people would love to have and don't have them all over the world. And that's the reality. So I think that the opportunity you've been doing here is a fantastic one. And what is next, in my own opinion, is self-development. Self-development is crucial. Everything about progress is about developing yourself. And one of the things that I've noticed, just in terms of who gets to be very successful and who doesn't, is reading, the ability to read something, no matter how little it is, to read constantly, to be constantly updating yourself with material. It doesn't have to be material that's connected with IT. Anything at all. Information is what empowers everyone. The difference between somebody who is going to make phenomenal progress and somebody who will not is information. I mean, look at a person like Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. Of course, some technical skills, but most of it, information. every one of the people that we have seen who have made incredible progress have not only been people with technical skills, but they've been people with the ability to read and to update themselves, to keep updating yourself, to keep reading, whatever it is, fiction, biographies, whatever. Every form of information is important to making a better person. Now, where government is concerned, and both Moshood and Francis were asking essentially the same question. How will government make a difference in what we're seeing today? In what ways will government make a difference? And I think that one of the crucial things that the federal government has done is what we call the Technical and Advisory Council on Creativity and Technology. Now, that council was set up with young people who are in the tech sector and in the entertainment sector. The whole idea was for young people to advise in the formulation of policy in technology and in the creative space. The reason why we decided to do that is because technology, for example, is all over the world. We're seeing that you have to keep updating yourself. The regulator has to keep updating himself. So one of the reasons why we're able to have the kinds of fintechs and the successes that fintechs have had is because of the Creativity Council. Now, the Creativity Council looked at all the policies and regulations around the licensing of financial payment, around the licensing of payment companies. Payments that are, companies are interested or involved, rather, in payment processing of any kind. Many of the fintech companies fitted into that space. But the problem was that in order to do anything in the financial space, you probably would need a banking license or a license of some sort. So if you are going to be handling deposits of any kind or lending money, especially large sums of money, you probably will need a banking license. Now, a banking license is 25 billion to be able to do that. So what the Creativity and Policy Council did in working with the CBN was to look at other types of licenses that could be given to people who are in the fintech space, doing financial processing of various kinds, payment processing, and various types of services in that space, who are not banks, but who in many ways behave like banks, at least in some particular areas. So the CBN then developed a number of licenses, and you'll find that several of the fintech companies have those types of licenses, not banking licenses, and they would not have been able to operate if they did not have those types of licenses. So that was an important step, and you'll find that several of these companies have become billion-dollar companies because we've been able to open up a space for them and license them for the particular activity that they are not, the activities that they are now doing. So you'll find that there are several companies now that lend money, and this is really good because it opens up that whole credit space. There are lots of small businesses that want to borrow, but they don't have collateral. But you find a lot of these companies, a lot of these companies that are enabled by technology, that have algorithms that can help them to very quickly tell whether this person looks like the person who, the sort of company or person who will pay back and how they will pay back. So without necessarily asking for any collateral, they're able to advance credit, just by the use of technology. So that's one of the very important things that government has done. Government, by the way, is a regulator. One of the things that we like to do is to avoid government getting in the way of people who are trying to do their business and who are trying to do their business well. If you get too much government into anything, you are going to get a bit of chaos. So you really need to have a situation where government is just a regulator. And government, even in regulating, government policy is dictated by those who are affected by that regulation, who are affected by that policy, which is one of the very important things to try to put in place. The other thing is funding. Funding for people, for these kinds of endeavors. Funding for the likes of Decagon and others who are involved in this space. And this is some area where we're doing a lot of work as well. Now, at the moment, we have an AFDP fund in the order of $600 million. We hope that that will come into place early next year. The AFDB has already approved it. Their board has already approved it. So we're ready to take on that fund. And that fund is called the IDICE Fund. The whole idea is that it will support enterprises such as Decagon for training. Now, and it will also support individual efforts for training in various areas of technology and creativity. Now, the problem always with accessing credit, accessing government credit, is always the fact that people are either not aware or the process is too difficult and all of that, which is why we're trying to put in place a whole, we're going to have a website, and we're going to have a lot of sensitization training, just to enable people to better understand how to access this type of facilities and what to do in order to be able to be eligible for the facilities. That's one. There's also another program which we have. Now, that program may not be entirely relevant for people like yourself, but it could well be. It is called the Jubilee Fellowship Program. Now, the Jubilee Fellowship Program is a program that we worked on with the UNDP as well as the EU. Now, that program would enable us to place 20,000 graduates with employers for a year. Now, what that does is that if, for example, you have a particular skill, but you haven't been placed yet, we're able to place you in either a government establishment or a private sector establishment, but you are paid throughout that year. I'm not going to disclose how much that pays, but I think it will be a bit better than some of what I've heard here today. I think it will be slightly better than that, and really the whole idea is to expose people to the types of skills that are required. In some cases, government services. There are some of you who may want to even be placed in government establishments that are looking at writing their own programs for doing something or the other. And then, of course, there are many private sector companies that are interested in the type of skills that you have. But the whole idea is that they will be placed for one, that the fellowship enables you to be placed for 1 year and to be paid for that entire year. Thereafter, you are then expected to either continue to work with such an establishment or, go out on your own. So there's the Jubilee Fellowship as well. And then, of course, the central bank has a couple of funds also targeted at technology. I think that technology has a good deal of money. Question really is how to ensure that we're able to access the resources. So I'm also happy to hear that you are being trained in soft skills, because I think that that's really fantastic. I think that's one of the very best things, because many people, have all the technical training and all that, but the soft skills are crucial in being a success at anything. So I'm glad to hear that that's also going on here. So by and large, I think that we're in a good place, and I'm happy to see that government is well behind every effort. Now, government, as I said, they're not always your most agile partners, but it depends on you. The feedback that we get from young people like yourselves is very helpful in being able to determine the direction that government ought to go. And then somebody asked about the startup bill. Now, the whole point of the startup bill is to create a legal framework for businesses, for startups in Nigeria. That's just the whole point. Now, startups are a different category. Now, don't forget that we already have a Companies Act. We have a Companies Act, and we have other laws and legal frameworks for companies in Nigeria. But we think that startups are in a completely different category, which is why we have a startup bill. A few countries have startup bills, and we're going in the direction of those countries that have tried to encourage people who are trying to start up businesses, mainly in the tech space. So the whole idea is, what sorts of incentives, what sorts of advantages would a startup company have, or should a startup company have? What sort of tax incentives? And we think that, we need some peculiar types of regulations for startups. So the whole point of the startup bill is to provide a legal framework, just to make it easier for startups to be able to blossom and do well. And as I've said, there's so many companies in Nigeria, so many startups that have done extremely well in the past few years. For many of them, there are many startups, of course, that don't go very far. So the whole idea is, what can government do? What's the sort of framework that enables small companies to develop? Most of it, as I've said, is around incentives. Most of it is around how do you register a startup, what sort of government support is required, and all that, and how do you access those kinds of government support. So it's a bill that was approved just this week, just approved on Wednesday. And we're hoping that it will go through the National Assembly quite easily. Those of you who are in the space should be lobbying very hard to make sure that the National Assembly passes such a bill so that you'll be able to benefit from it. Otherwise, again, just to congratulate you all on the very excellent performance. I noticed that some people got louder cheers than others. I'm not so sure exactly what accounts for that, you know. But maybe some groups are noisier than others. Maybe that's. But anyway, congratulations and very well done. Thank you.
Okay, please, let's take the national anthem. Please rise up on our feet for the national anthem.
Welcome, Your Excellency, who is the host, and the deputy, all other distinguished guests. Please, I want to invite George for an overview of this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for honoring us today to be present at the foundation stone laying of the EdoTech Park. The EdoTech Park project is a 20-hectare development going to solve for a living environment by providing the infrastructure and just a conducive place for us to be able to house this talent, and then it can serve the world for them. So thank you so much for this.
Please, can I hear a round of applause for this wonderful moment? Thank you so much.
Sorry, excuse me, I'm open this. Please open it. Can you please facing that's what you're doing, please.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of our country, we don't know how to express our gratitude to you. Not just because you have come here this afternoon to lay the foundation for this tech park, which promises to be one of Africa's first real technology park. But to thank you for initiating or bringing to our consciousness the fact that we could be a real digital hub. You did this less than 3 years ago when you gave us the first innovation hub in the south of Nigeria. That mustard seed you sowed that day is what you saw at the takeoff campus of the Benin Tech Park, which you visited and met the first set of graduates. And that seed is what has brought us here this afternoon, and is being germinated to reflect where we want to be as a people. As I shared with you in the car this afternoon, we cannot envisage a world without technology. It's all about technology today. And as a government, we want to align our future, the future of our children in Edo, to that of the reality of the world today. This would not have been possible without your support. So we want to express our profound gratitude and to let you know, as you go back to Abuja, that we believe in the digital policy of government of the federal government. And as a sub-national, we will do all we can within our own power to begin to exemplify how this process can work. And whatever assistance that can be rendered to us from the federal government, we would truly really appreciate. So I want to thank you and your team for this honor done us. And we cannot promise that you will come and cut the tape before May 2023, but we pray, God Almighty, that you will look back and say, yes, you started, you give the nod, and look at what your policies have produced for the people of Nigeria. Once again, thank you very, very much. So, Greg, George,
the world is beginning to adopt our talents. We are beginning to see that guys can work remotely. And we are native English speakers as well. So this gives us like a very crucial advantage with the project. So the residential apartments will be able to house, we have about 300 24 hours power, and we have development partners and construction partners that make commitment to the happen. And I want to also thank for having this vision. And we have committed as government says, even if it doesn't happen before 2023, I will very much.